How's everyone doing today? I'm be talking about the craziest and probably my favorite episode in the first season of Welcome to Derry. A lot of stuff happens in this one, and we're starting off with the guy who's in a shop. He's rubbing some towels against someone's head, and then he looks out the window and he sees a giant fog is enrolled into the town. I was first watching this episode. I thought it was just a giant dust storm or some shit. The fog looked way too grey, looked way too thick. It looked like someone just pulled up in a giant vacuum cleaner and opened up and just released all the dust inside and shit. And this dust. This fog is like a city. This fog is like ops with nature because it starts killing off leaves. The leaves start falling off. So then we cut to Pennywise, who's in the principal's office, and he tells everyone on the intercom, "Yo, everyone, pull up to the main PE hall. Special announcement or some shit like that." So then everyone assembles like Transformers in the PE hall, and some guy hops out onto the stage and he starts talking, and he's like, "All right, everyone, today you're gonna see Pennywise the dancing clown. Yada yada. I hate my job." His mouth is moving like Slappy the puppet. So then the curtains open up. It's revealed Pennywise has his hand up the guy's ass. He's controlling him like a puppet. So then he rips his head off by digging his fingers into his eyes, rips his head off, kicks his head out the window like a football, and then chucks the body to the rest of the kids, being like, "Hey, you can play around with him. Pretend he's like Foxy and just start ripping him apart and on, you know? Like, he play with his intestines or some shit. I don't know, just play with him." He just throws the body to them like it's a present. So then everyone starts freaking out, and they try to leave the PE hall, and Pennywise does his little signature dance, the dance that Fortnite made Take the L after. So then he opens up his head and he makes everyone go crazy. He basically just makes everyone he basically comatoses everyone. So Lily, Ronnie, and Marge, they see this fog that's enveloping the whole town, and then they go to the school. They notice there's blood everywhere on the ground. Then they find the principal's body or head just chilling outside like a Halloween decoration. And then they're deciding, right, we're gonna go save these guys. But the only way they can do it is basically hopping in a guy's milk van and driving around there. So the person who drives it is Marge, who has one fucking eye. Yeah, great idea. Let's get someone who's 50% blind to drive a car so we can all tip over and die. So then we cut to Halloran, who's with Indian guy, Dick Halloran, actually. Yeah, that's his name, Dick. He got named after my penis. His dad must have thought up with his name when he looked at his cock when having a piss. He's like, "Yeah, I know what I'm going to name my son now." Will's dad, Halloran's Hanlon, their name, I find this so stupid in the show. They made Dick's name similar to Leroy's name. I'm just gonna call them by their first names. Leroy's wife, and they're she's freaking out because her son got missing because in the last episode she got taken to Pennywise's basement. The Indian woman basically feeds Dick this herbal tea that'll connect him to the dagger, connect him to anything that was made from the star basically. So then we cut to the three girls that are driving the van, and they end up hitting into a pothole. They end up swerving into a tree and crashing. They end up losing the dagger. Dagger's on the ground. Marge tries to go for it, but then Lily's like, "No, that's my cosmic vibrator. Let me get that, please. Thank you." So then as she puts it in her bag, the dagger goes into this void or some shit. I don't know, like the nebula or something. It goes into this. It looks like space, pretty much. And then we cut back to Dick, and I kind of thought this was funny because the screen zooms out and you could just see his mouth just screaming. It was like, "Ah!" just over and over again, and he knows where they are. He knows where they're at. So that group, Dick, Leroy, and all, they're gonna hop in the van and they're gonna drive over to them to save them pretty much. So then we cut back to the three girls that are walking, and Lily's walking behind Marge and Ronnie, and Ronnie and Marge both think she's a bit cracked. She's a bit cuckoo. She needs to go back to the Gotham's Asylum or whatever. I forgot what it's called. It's Juniper Hill, actually. They think she needs to go back to Juniper Hill. So then Lily starts crashing and she's like, why are you looking at me like that? Like I'm crazy or some shit. I was like, I mean, you kind of are cracked. You're carrying around a big rock. Like, is it gonna do something? What are you, a cave one? Like, ooga booga. Ronnie tries to go for the rock to get off of Lily, because the rock basically, if someone holds it for way too long, it starts to scramble their brain. It starts to make him go crazy. So then Lily takes off. She starts running away. She's like, "You know what? I'm just gonna do this on myself. I don't need you. Fuck friends. People who have friends are losers. Fuck friendship. I don't like that." So she starts running away. Ronnie hops on top of her. Marge also gets on top of her. Lily kicks Marge off, and Lily's basically freaking out because they're trying to get the rock off her, and she doesn't want to give that shit up. So then I don't know where's this from. It kind of made no sense to me. This is just a bit random to me. Ronnie just says to her, "You're on a lifeboat," and then that kind of just calms Lily down. It's like a dog getting mad, but then when you it's like when a dog's freaking out or some shit, and then when you scratch it behind the ears, it's like calming him down. It's like, so she just likes lifeboats or some shit. It's like, "Oh, you're on a lifeboat. You're in the middle of the sea. and you're getting munched up by sharks. So then Marge gets the dagger because she should be in charge of this because she won't go Looney Tunes all over them. So Ronnie sees something. So then they turn around. They walk to the edge of the forest that they're in, and they see Pennywise. He's moving down. He's gonna go take his circus business to like a different county. Fuck Derry. Derry's shit. So they see a circus wagon and a bunch of kids just flowing behind him. He has his soldiers of ghost kids just flowing behind him, it looks like. So then they go over to the wagon. They find Will. He looks like he's fentweaking or some shit. He looks like he's doing the Squidward posture in that one SpongeBob episode. He just needs a wild yellow brick to fly out his ass crack to fix his posture. So then they try to get Will because he's just floating. They try to pull him down. Pennywise opens up the back door of the wagon and he comes out. He basically just starts rage baiting and is like, "Oh, the freak, the fool, and the failure. Which one are you? I'll take a poo all over you." You know? So then he tries to charge at them, and then Ronnie, she has the dagger. I swear Marge had the dagger. They just decide to switch shifts. That's easy. Marge is some lazy cook. She can't be ours carrying a rock. So then Ronnie points the rock at Pennywise, and it's a magic rock, so it affects him. He starts backing away. Like he's. To be honest, I don't think it feels like Pennywise isn't really taking his job seriously because the way he backs away is like. He just starts doing like a back shuffle or some shit. So now the three girls are all alone in the fog, and Pennywise just starts running past them, running around them, trying to scare them. So then his arms stretch out like it's fucking rubber hose animation. It drags Marge away to, be on her own, because that's kind of Pennywise's thing. He kind of takes children out one by one because then it's easier to make them shit themselves. So then Marge is now alone with Pennywise, and Pennywise starts yapping to him, and this kind of made no sense to me, but then after looking up online, it did make sense to me. It's pretty interesting, but also kind of confusing. She basically can see the future, present, and past all at the same time, because he's like a cosmic entity that exists outside of our universe. He exists in time. So like yesterday, tomorrow, and today is all the same time to him. It makes no difference to him. So he starts yapping to Marge, basically saying, "Oh yeah, you're gonna have a child in the future named Richie Taser. He can see the future. He can already see this happening," which, like, I feel like they'll just leave a lot of plot holes then. So then after he's done yapping to her, after she's done freaking out, be like, "I never wanted to become a mother. I hate children." So then he charges at her. He gets frozen. He gets stopped in his tracks because when they're on the van, when they're on the van, Pennywise was getting close to like this ancient tree, which is like the furthest point they can go bury the dagger before it's too late. If Pennywise gets past that dagger, it's over. It's all wraps. Pennywise gets to feast on everyone like it's a buffet. So what their idea was is they got Dick to go into Pennywise's mind, because in an earlier episode, if you remember, they were on a plane and he went into Pennywise's mind and he was basically in his lair. So he does that again, and that's why Pennywise freezes up. So then Dick's group managed to get to the kids in a van, and they basically nicked the black rock off them. They're thinking, right, me and Leroy over here are just gonna go do it. The two bravest black men I've seen in the TV show. So then they start running towards the old ass tree, but then I don't know how this happened. There's somehow soldiers already posted up around like this big massive ass ice skating ring pretty much near the tree, and it's like they were like posted up, camped out, like they were expecting them to come here. I have no idea how they knew where they would be. They have like Heimdall powers or some shit. They have foresight. They could see into the future. So then they basically shoot Leroy and the Indian dude down. Leroy survives that. She only got a little bit injured, but the Indian guy, he caught one in the neck. He caught a stray bullet. Well, it wasn't stray, it was aimed at him. He caught one in the neck, and he basically, he ends up dying. So then the kids, they get to Leroy, and then he gives them their black rock, so, because his free trial of a cosmic rock ended. So then the kids, it's up to the kids now. Marge, Lily, and Ronnie, the three girls, it's up to them to basically go over to the tree and bury that shit. So as they run off, the general is looking at them through binoculars, like he's trying to look at his next door neighbor undressing with her tits out. So then he pans over and he sees Pennywise. He's still frozen like he's the mask, and General walks over to this guy, fucking General retard over here. I still can't believe this guy thinks that Pennywise will just like do what he wants him to do, like he's his pet pitbull or some shit. Like this cosmic pitbull, the second he unfreezes, he's gonna munch on your head like it's a fucking piece of steak or some shit. So the General goes over to Pennywise. He starts talking to me. He's like, "Oh yeah, don't worry, I know who's doing this. I can stop it, and you'll be able to leave." So then we cut to Pennywise, who's trapped in his own mind pretty much, and he's like in this wagon, and some guys and everyone around him thinks he's Bob Gray, and he's like, "I'm not Bob Gray, I'm the eater of worlds." He gets slapped about pretty much. So then the group, they end up finding the soldiers end up finding Dick's group, and they basically just start subduing them. They basically start pointing their guns at him. It's like, all right, you're gonna have to like stop this nonsense that you're doing of trying to save Derry. It's like, what the fuck? What are you doing here? Like, we're trying to fuck the whole United States up, and you're trying to save it. Get a load of these people. So then they start pointing their guns at him. They grab Halloran, which in Pennywise's mind makes the whole wagon shake, and then that makes Pennywise realize, hang on, Dick is fucking with me. So then he starts basically saying, tricky Dicky, I like Dicky in my asshole. So then Pennywise, he pulls down the guy's hair, and then he just kicks him out of the wagon, which in real time that would make Halloran fall onto the ground as well. So then Pennywise, he snaps out of his I don't know why I struck my head like I'm Pennywise. He snaps out of his head like he was in a LSD trip or something. The general starts having a conversation with me. He's like, listen, you could go. You can leave. Like he's his old friend. Like he's his son or something. It's so stupid. The whole military plotline in this show, where like, oh yeah, let's not let them contain Pennywise, so we can have him murder more people, so we can somehow control the US with death and carnage. It just sounds so retarded. So as Pennywise is walking away, he starts sniffing on the general because he hasn't showered in 2 days. He smells like shit. He reeks, Meg. Hop in the fucking bathtub and wash yourself. So then he recognizes the general, because in an earlier episode, I think it was in episode 3, I can't remember, we got back to the because General came across Pennywise before in the woods. So then he recognizes this. So then he starts trolling him. He does this shit. He's like, and then when he does that, an old monster face that the general recognizes appears, and he starts freaking out. It's like, stay back, goddamn, I swear to. And then he gets cut off, and Pennywise just jumps on him and noms on his head like a meatball. So we get back to the group, to the soldiers that are with Dick's group, and after they heard the general get killed, one of them, I think he's a major, he heard that shit, and then they're trying to like basically persuade him, basically being like, look, we have to stop him, or else we're all pretty much like fucked if this happens. So he's like, no, Leroy, you're a traitor. Okay, so we're just not gonna listen to you. We don't really give a shit. Ronnie's dad, Halloran, and Ronnie's dad, Leroy, and Dick attack the soldiers. Ronnie's dad starts first. He attacks one of the soldiers. Halloran, Dick, I keep calling them by their last names. It's just more confusing. Call them by their first names, Art, you retard. So then Dick raises one of the soldiers' arms to point his gun up to the sky like he's trying to shoot God in the butthole. So then Ronnie's dad introduces one of the soldiers to his kneecap. Dick headbutts one of them in the nose, and then an Indian woman just points a rifle at one of them and hits him with the ass crack of the rifle. So then we cut back to Pennywise, who's dancing towards the kids. He doesn't take anything seriously. He's just doing his little dance towards them. Halloran pops him in the head with a rifle. He hits him like a good bit, so much that disintegrates his head. Man was just shooting at him with like explosive bullets or some shit. Man was like shooting grenades out of his gun. So then Pennywise's head is gone. It's pretty much disappeared. But then he gets jump scared. But then Leroy gets jump scared by like a clown head on like a spring, like a Jack-in-a-Box, and then he shoots that as well. But then Pennywise's head regrows, and he splits open his head. He comatoses Leroy, and he basically no one else is left to stop him except for the Indian woman. So then Pennywise starts crawling after the kids. He starts to slowly get up, and the Indian woman starts shooting at her. But then she runs out of ammo. Oh, whoopsie daisy! So then Pennywise starts to like grow wings and shit. He starts to transform into a giant fucking bat or something. So then he gets up, he flies after the kids, and the Rich actually appears at some point. This is kind of confusing because I was thinking, Rich, I thought you died, but then I was like, oh yeah, he's in probably the spiritual world. Rich runs by Pennywise before he like could take off and like fly away, and just like flips him off. I was like, fuck you, nerd. So then Rich is going over to the group. He's basically helping them bury this dagger. And Pennywise is about, he's flying at them. He's about to grab onto him like they're worms, and he's an eagle. And then just as he's about to touch them, they manage to tap the dagger onto the ground. And that sends Pennywise flying back because a light appears, and it pushes Pennywise back, and like all the pillars that are supposed to be containing Pennywise, they light up like Minecraft beacons. So then Pennywise tries to do one last surprise, one last trick up his ass. He starts changing, his head starts to change forms, kind of like he did in the first film. His head changes into like the pickle monster, then it changes into like a zombie head, then a doll face, because he's a big fucking baby and he's crying now as he's screeching. So then it changes back to his face, he screeches, and then he just says, lively crowd, and then he gets disintegrated by light, and the deadlights, they just go flying off somewhere like a swarm of angry bees. And then basically the episode ends with them at this funeral. Mrs. Kirsch hung herself in the Juniper Hills Hospital, and you actually get to see Beverly and the old man from It Chapter 2. It kind of like ties back to it. I thought that was kind of cool. But yeah, that was episode 8 of Welcome to Derry and the season 1 finale. So yeah, see you later.